Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this regular meeting of the Lafayette Parish School Board. Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States and the presentation of colors by the Como High School Navy Junior ROTC Magnet Academy. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. First item in the opening comments from Superintendent Trosclair.
Thank you, Mr. Centani. The Magnet Academy Showcase will be held this coming Saturday, October the 12th from 9 to 1 o'clock p.m. at the Hyman Performing Arts Center. The event will have hands-on activities as well as live performances from our many talented students. The event is open to the public, so everyone is welcome to attend. Online applications for the 2021 school year will open that day and will close January 15th, 2020. FAFSA applications are now open, and we encourage seniors to begin completing the applications to secure federal funds. Please visit the website fasfa.gov for more information. One of our 5th grade LJ Alamo students, Ms. Sariel Tapo, has been selected to serve as a kid reporter for the 2019-2020 Scholastic Kids Press. She is the only student selected from Louisiana and will be reporting on events throughout our state, region, and the nation. We are excited for this opportunity for Sorrell and look forward to reading her articles. Although school performance scores for the 2018-2019 school year have not yet been released, some preliminary data relative to student growth or progress index have been. I am very happy to report that in the area of student growth targets, that's the way the state measures whether or not a student reached his or her projected growth target in one school year, that the 2-year combined progress index for all traditional K-12 schools in Lafayette Parish is an A or B. Congratulations to teachers and staff across our district who continue to work to grow our students. Every year in October, the National Association of School Principals celebrates our nation's principals for their tireless dedication to their students, their teachers, and the schools that they serve. School leaders work every day to give their students the best education, and I'd like to take the opportunity this evening to say thank you to our district's principals for their hard work and dedication in helping to assure that best practices and programs are aligned to provide high quality learning experience for our students. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Trosclair. Next up is we have Preston Castile, candidate for Board of Elementary and Secondary Education District 8. Is that correct? All right, please come to the podium and
Good afternoon. My name is Preston. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you. That's so much better. My name is Preston.
Are you a teacher?
As a matter of fact, I am. I'm a candidate for Bessie, District 8, but I'm also a law professor. I taught law school at LSU for 8 years. I've been teaching at the Southern University Law Center for the last 16 years. So, yes, I'm a teacher. I currently teach education, law, and policy at the Southern University Law Center, along with a number of other courses. I teach trial advocacy, evidence, Louisiana Civil Procedure 1 and 2, as well as pretrial litigation. I've been practicing law in Louisiana for the last 25 years. I grew up in St. Landry Parish. I graduated from Pleasance High School. We were having a conversation about that earlier because Pleasance High School no longer exists as a high school. I have incredibly fond memories of my time in St. Landry Parish and attending Pleasance. I'm a product, obviously, of the public education system. I started off not in the big city of Opelousas, although I went to Pleasance, but before going to school in Opelousas, I lived in Port Barry off of Bayou Catawba. Then we moved to Opelousas, went to Crestwell Elementary, and then ultimately to Pleasance High School, where I graduated valedictorian. I went on to college at Southern University on a full academic scholarship in pre-med, and somewhere along the way I met a fellow lawyer in the audience a moment ago. I got a different bug and decided to go to law school and majored in economics, and I worked as an economist for a year in Washington, D.C. I've had an incredibly wonderful career. I had an opportunity in 2009 to be appointed by the Louisiana Supreme Court as a Baton Rouge City Court judge. And frankly, I will tell you that for many, most would think that that had to be an incredibly wonderful experience, and it was. And I was grateful for it. But one of the things that I saw that was most disheartening is the number of young people who were flowing through the criminal justice system. And frankly, that I believe that while I could do a whole lot as a lawyer, and I've done a fair amount of good things, I think what you can do and what you have done, frankly, in the education system is what keeps people out of the criminal justice system, what keeps people away from seeing people like me. The lawyer for the board came up earlier. What's your name again, man? Danielle. So Danielle walked up and the president of the board said, "We don't have anything to talk about." Great. It's good that we don't have anything to talk about with the lawyer. And you never want to have a conversation with a judge or a lawyer unless it's a good conversation about something other than something legal. We want to keep our children out of the criminal justice system, and the way to do that, frankly, is to have an incredibly strong education. And we see that happen far too often. I very well could have been a product of the criminal justice system as opposed to the education system. Now, I will tell you my passion over the last few weeks, frankly, as I've had an opportunity to listen to folks all across the 14 parishes that make up District 8, is our challenge with resources. I know that you, as a board, struggle with how do you make ends meet and provide all of the resources that you need to support your school system. It is a problem that we deal with all across America and certainly here. You know, my experience as an economist, my experience as a law professor, I'm very eager. I'm a bit of a nerd, so I'm very eager to jump into how do we figure out how do we better fund our educational system across the state and here in this district. It's an incredibly important thing to do. It's not one of the sexy things to do. People want to generally talk about other things, but generally at the root of many of our problems is that if we have sufficient resources to fund the wonderful programs that we need to fund, if we have the resources to fund teachers at a level that they should be funded, then I think we solve lots of our problems. My wife is a middle school math teacher, and I will just candidly tell you that it's so disappointing that the people who we entrust our most precious resources to are teachers, that they're probably the most underpaid profession in America. They are the most underpaid profession in America. And if we truly are going to change our educational system, we have to find a solution to that. And I don't mean it just in terms of lip service. We really need to find a solution to that. So, Mr. President, I don't know how much time I have, but I'm sure it's not a lot. And so I will say to you.
You're pretty much out.
Yeah, I kind of figured that much. I was getting that look. I could feel it. I wanted to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to address your board and the staff. And Madam Superintendent, thank you as well. I look forward to the opportunity to serve the constituents of District 8. My name again is Preston Castile. I'm a candidate for Bessie District 8, and I prayerfully, respectfully ask for your vote. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Castile. Next on the agenda is Senator Gerald Boudreaux, candidate for Louisiana State Senator, District 24.
Good evening, Mr. President, Ms. Trosclair, members of the board, and to our educators who are here. I want to thank you again for the opportunity just to take a couple minutes and come by, and I want to thank each and every one of you for your service, because it's about the connectivity, and I applaud Mr. Castile because there's a lot of work that we have left to do. There's a lot of talking that goes on when somebody's name is on the ballot and you get a chance to do that. So the last 4 years I've had the opportunity to represent District 24 in the Louisiana State Senate. Serving on the Senate Education Committee, I've heard and seen that. Having my youngest daughter a second grade school teacher, I got it firsthand. So we have to connect between the local boards and Bessie and the state and find out how we do things better. And it's going to take that working together and that teamwork for us to get there. I would tell you that while there was a small one-time hit this year in the legislature that we had to wait until the last week of the session to have it voted on, I think just like me, you have to hold all elected officials accountable. I'm talking about in the Senate and in the House members for not having that lip service, not telling you that our kids are our most prized possession and do absolutely nothing in 4 years to do that. Some of those same people don't have opponents. I'm not one of those. But I could tell you I've supported education in this state and in this district so that we can make changes, so that we can address those failing schools that, by the way, there are people who are working hard to make improvements in that area. I recognize that, and I thank you for going above and beyond. But today I just wanted to come by and thank the board members for your service in our community and make a commitment to you that I plan on returning for another 4 years. I plan on keeping education a top priority, not only when my name's on the ballot or when the lights are on, but when we're in committee meetings. And I'm going to tell you all one thing and I'll close. There's going to be another opportunity that the governor is going to have to put another pay plan, because this was phase one, I would hope, of like 8 phases. You can't just give $1,000 and $500 to support staff and say we gave a pay raise. That's not a pay raise. That's really, it's an insult. So I'm committed, and I hope you hold the others accountable and committed to making that first installment not the last installment. And if it is, then in 4 years, I think you need to take a roll call and see who's been absent. I want to thank you again for the time today. Thank you for the opportunity to represent this district in the Louisiana State Senate, and I'm looking forward to another great 4 years. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator Boudreaux. Next is a recognition of the Early College Academy for being a 2019 National Blue Ribbon School. Ms. Morrison?
Yes. First of all, I'd like to congratulate Early College Academy for their recognition of becoming a National Blue Ribbon School. Congratulations. I also would like to tell you a little bit about the award. The United States Department of Education has recognized Early College Academy as a 2019 National Blue Ribbon School. The program, which began in 1982, recognizes public and private schools on the elementary, middle, and high school levels based on overall academic performance or their progress in closing achievement gaps among students' subgroups. Early College Academy is being recognized as the 2019 Exemplary High Performing Schools National Blue Ribbon School. In November, 2 representatives from the school will travel to Washington, D.C. to attend the recognition ceremony, where they will receive a National Blue Ribbon School plaque and flag. Early College Academy is one of the only 7 schools in Louisiana to earn this honor. Congratulations. I also would like to present you guys with a certificate of recognition, and it says from the Lafayette Parish School System is awarded to Early College Academy 2019 Exemplary High Performing Schools National Blue Ribbon School. Congratulations.
They asked if I want to say a couple words, and the superintendent said yes, so I don't have a choice, I don't think. Good evening. Thank you. I'd like to say thank you to the board. Thank you, Ms. Trosclair, also to former Superintendent Dr. Aguilar, Mr. Guidry, Mr. Touchette, Ms. Gardner, Dr. Rabelais, Ms. Aloisio. Y'all have all supported us. Also to Mr. Brian Hebert, who as Director of Middle and High Schools has supported us for the last several years and been a large part of this. Special thank you to Mr. Brunel Lemoyne and Mr. Brunel Lejeune, who's had this vision years ago, and I hope if they haven't had it already, I hope this solidifies that their wacky idea about giving this this area something unique and something it didn't have it has paid off now, if they haven't already realized that. Of course, thank you to the faculty and staff of Early College Academy. They are dedicated, as many teachers are in the parish. What is their most, I think, valuable characteristic is that they have very high expectations of our students, and they give them the tools to meet those expectations. And lastly, of course, to our wonderful parent and students, parents for entrusting us to take their kids in, keep them safe, give them the academic fulfillment that they need, and also those soft skills that they will need to further their career in college and their work career. And of course to the parents for just, the students for just working so darn hard, because they deserve this. And when we go in November to Washington, D.C. and accept this award, it will not only be for Early College Academy, but I think it will represent Lafayette Parish Schools and system as a whole. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Melton, and congratulations once again. The next item is the Renaissance National Honor Roll for Significant Reading Achievement. Dr. Rabelais?
Hello, good evening. So it is my honor and privilege to discuss an award that was a national recognition for an elementary school in our district. Recently, Ernest Gallette Elementary was a recipient of the Renaissance National Honor Roll for Significant Reading Achievement. If you have had an elementary student, you may have heard of Accelerated Reader, or AR, or having a student take an AR test. Renaissance is linked to that same reading program. So in May, 27 local educators were named to the Renaissance National Honor Roll for outstanding performance in advancing students' achievement in reading. Only 30 educators in Louisiana achieved this honor for the 2018-2019 academic year. 27 of those 30 educators were from Ernest Gallette Elementary School. Congratulations. One of the recipients and the principal of Ernest Gallette, Miss Monique Chagua, will come up and now talk a little bit more about this distinct award and her wonderfully talented and amazing group of educators. Congratulations.
Mr. President, members of the board, Mrs. Trosclair, and members of the public, I am truly honored to be here tonight to celebrate our reading success with you. I believe that one of the greatest gifts that we can instill in a child is the love of reading. The beginning years are so important to develop that love. AR is a software that monitors the practice of reading. It is designed based on years of research to help teachers introduce students to the magic of reading. The National Honor Roll program guides educators to targets that research has shown result in greater student growth. Teachers complete challenges, which provides professional growth to help educators improve implementation by setting goals, monitoring progress, and providing regular feedback to students. The ultimate goal is to demonstrate student growth throughout the year. Teachers must submit their data to show achievement of the targets. Teachers who meet these high targets are recognized as making AR Honor Roll. Every student can become their most amazing self and discover a lifelong love of reading with the guidance of an expert teacher. AR recognized 30 teachers in Louisiana, and 27 are from Ernest Gallette. Schools that meet these same high targets are recognized as AR National Honor Roll schools. In 2018-2019, Ernest Gallette made the National Honor Roll. It has been a goal of mine for years to reach this honor. I would like to introduce my amazing librarian who spearheaded this goal. She worked with students and supported teachers to accomplish this honor. And I'm proud to introduce a few of my teachers. Can you please stand? Thank you for working with students. Thank you for working with students and developing a passion for reading. Yes, please.
Y'all come up and take a picture. Congratulations once again. The next item on the agenda is the On Track by 5 Alliance. College, I'm going to guess what this stands for, the College and Career Readiness something, I don't know. Miss Monty.
Hi, how are you? Thank you for having us tonight, Superintendent Trusclair, the board, and the public. At this time, I would like to bring your attention to the school readiness tax credits. Everyone has a little brochure on their seat. And On Track by 5 is the local resource, child care resource and referral agency in Lafayette Parish. We are underneath Lafayette Parish Early Childhood Department. We're asking business owners to redirect a portion of their business taxes back to Lafayette Parish so all children will start school kindergarten ready. Business owners can direct up to $5,000 to On Track by 5 and receive a dollar-for-dollar refundable credit on their Louisiana taxes. This year, we have a curriculum initiative to provide Louisiana Department of Education Tier 1 approved curriculums in our Type 3 early learning child care centers for the infant, toddler, and preschool rooms. In order to reach this goal, we need 30 new businesses to sign up for our tax credit. On Track by 5 supports 41 early learning centers, child care centers, over 3,100 children, and over 300 child care teachers to ensure all children have the best possible foundation of educational success. On Track by 5 operates solely on grant funds and our local business tax credits. You can turn your success into our success by directing your tax dollars back to Lafayette Parish. We have provided everyone with informational cards on your seat. So this is the why of what we do, and this is the how of what you do. So if you know a business owner, or you are a business owner that can support us through this school readiness tax credit, please fill out these cards. We really would appreciate it. We need your support this year for our huge initiative. And just to kind of give a shout out to the businesses that do currently support us, it's on the back of this sheet. So at this time, I'll give Paula an opportunity to kind of give you a quick example.
So after the meeting, we're going to be outside at the table in the lobby to collect your cards and answer any questions that you have. So an example would be, let's say you're a business or you know of a business that has a tax liability of, let's say, $10,000. And so $5,000 you would direct to On Track by 5, and that way your tax liability would only be $5,000. So it's a dollar for dollar tax credit. So let's say you are a nonprofit or you don't owe any taxes, but you have a tax ID, a business owner, and a tax ID, and you do file Louisiana taxes, you will get dollar for dollar back. So if you donate $5,000, you would get back a check, $5,000 from your Louisiana state taxes. So we had a nonprofit that gave $5,000 last year, and they got back $5,025. So they got interest. And so they said, wow, that's a good investment.
So we know we have a lot of educators in here, so if you have a spouse that owns a business, or if you know a business that would like to support this tax credit, please fill out the cards and I'll follow up with them. Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much. The next item on our agenda is personnel changes for October 9th, 2019. Ms. Thibodeau, do you have any, or Mr. V, do you have any introductions?
Good afternoon, Ms. Trosclair, members of the board. I have 4 introductions to make tonight. Our first introduction will be Ms. Tracy Hippolyte, our new Transformation School Officer. Ms. Hippolyte comes with 25 years of a wide range of experiences and knowledge with supporting teacher and leader effectiveness. Ms. Hippolyte's most recent position was the National Institute for Excellence in Teaching as a Senior Program Specialist. Previously, she served as Executive Director of Curriculum and Instruction in St. John the Baptist School District. Also, she served at the Louisiana State Department of Education, and during her tenure there, she provided strategic support to school districts across Louisiana with efforts to improve learning outcomes for all students. Ms. Hippolyte has held national board certification from 2009 to 2019 in literacy, reading, language arts in early and middle childhood. She holds a bachelor's degree from the University of Louisiana at Lafayette, a master's degree from Nicholls State University in Thibodaux, Louisiana, and a K-12 Education Leader Specialist degree from Grand Canyon University in Phoenix, Arizona. Welcome to Lafayette Parish, Ms. Hippolyte.
Mr. President, honorable board members, and Superintendent Trosclair, I really would like to thank you for this great opportunity to continue to do what I love to do. And when I say that, it's being a teacher. And even though this position is being a transformation zone officer, I always like to know that I'm a teacher first, a teacher and a learner. So I'm looking forward to working with our transformation zone and really working with them on ensuring that we're leveraging the key things that we have in place, the systems and our structures, and making sure that we're keeping students first in every decision that we make and in everything that we do. I appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to come home because I've been away for a while. But thank you, and I'm looking forward to great things that's happening in our school system and really moving our transformation zone forward. Thank you.
Our next introduction is Miss Anna Kettinger, Assistant Principal at Corporal Michael Middlebrook Elementary School. Ms. Kettinger earned a Bachelor of Arts degree and a Master of Education degree from UL Lafayette. Ms. Kettinger's teaching experience includes teaching at Elio Judice Elementary School, Prairie Elementary School, and Woodvale Elementary School. Her most recent position has been teaching second grade gifted at Woodvale Elementary, and she has held this position for 7 years. While serving in this position, she also took on the responsibilities as the gifted lead teacher and Lighthouse team coordinator. Congratulations on your position as assistant principal at Corporal Michael Middlebrook Elementary School. Ms. Kettinger.
Thank you. I would like to thank the board and Superintendent Trosclair for this opportunity to serve the students at Corporal Michael Middlebrook Elementary as their assistant principal. I also want to thank my family and friends for all of their love and support over the years. Not only am I a product of Lafayette Parish School System, but also a parent of 3 and soon to be 4 students in Lafayette Parish School System. So I'm just excited and honored for the opportunity to serve these students and also to further the mission and vision of Lafayette Parish along with Ms. Herman at Corporal Michael Middlebrook Elementary. Thank you.
Until yesterday, she was also my son's teacher. And I'll be no. I just wanted to tell you that he will miss you very much.
Our next introduction is Mr. Corwin Jean, Assistant Principal of Paulboro Middle School. Mr. Jean earned a bachelor's degree from UL Lafayette and a Master of Arts in Teaching degree from Louisiana College. Mr. Jean also received his certification in educational leadership through the state of Louisiana. He has served as a high school band director at Beauchesne High School. He served as an assistant principal and acting principal in St. Landry Parish. His most recent position is Dean of Students at Paulboro Middle School. Congratulations on your position as assistant principal at Paulboro Middle School, Mr. Jean.
Good evening. So let me make one correction. It's Jean. Good evening, President Centani, board members, Superintendent Trosclair, and all others in attendance. I stand before you honored and greatly appreciative of the opportunity that you have bestowed upon me. With this opportunity comes the responsibility of leading students and teachers and working with the community as well. I plan on continuing to work at my best potential for the benefit of students and the support of families. Mrs. Rayburn and Director Aloisio, you are exceptional leaders, and I want to thank you both for recognizing my work ethic and abilities, giving me the chance to work with you, and being able to continue moving Paulboro in the right direction. Ms. Thomas, thanks for being such a great colleague. You're a wonderful person to work with. The prayers and kind words are tremendously appreciated. To anyone else who has helped me on this journey, I thank you as well. In closing, I thoroughly enjoy working at Paulboro Middle. I thoroughly enjoy working with the team that we have in place. So in the words of Coach Ogeron, go Tigers.
Okay. Our last introduction is Ms. Kimberlyn Slagle, Assistant Principal at J.W. Falk Elementary School. Ms. Slagle earned a Bachelor of Arts degree from University of Central Florida in Orlando and a Master of Education degree from the University of South Florida in Tampa. Ms. Slagle's teaching experience includes includes serving as an English teacher at East Bay High School in Gibsonton, Florida, Largo Middle School in Largo, Florida, and Wharton High School in Tampa, Florida. Next, she served in at the subject area leader and coordinator for literacy and assessment at Terrence Community School in Tampa, Florida. Then as an online instructor and clinical education supervisor at Axia College at the University of Phoenix. In 2013, Ms. Slagle moved to Lafayette and served as a teacher at Youngsville Middle School, and David Thibodeau before being promoted to instructional leader at David Thibodeau. And her most recent experience has been serving as instructional leader at L.J. Alamo Middle School. Congratulations on your position as assistant principal at J.W. Falk Elementary, Ms. Slagle.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. President, members of the board. I would like to express my gratitude to Superintendent Trosclair, to Mr. Touchette, to Dr. Rabelais, to Mrs. Gardner, and to Mrs. Fontenot. Thank you so much for the opportunity and for the faith extended to me. I'm so sorry. I love them so much. They've been wonderful. And Ms. LaFleur, I forgot you. I'm so sorry. Thank you so much for the opportunity and for the faith extended to me. I am absolutely beyond the moon and honored to join the J.W. Falk family. Thank you.
That's it.
Families of the people introduced, we will spare you and let you get an early start on watching the Cajuns game if you'd like. We will not be offended if you decide to leave us now. As our guests exit, board members, the next item is information on the history of portable buildings moved. Do any board members have any questions on this agenda item? Does the public have any questions on this agenda item? Okay, so we'll move on to our consent agenda now. What I will do is read each agenda item out loud. Board members, please speak up if you would like to pull that item for further discussion. Item number 1. Discussion and/or action concerning Resolution 10-19-1965, National Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
Pull it.
Number 2, concerning Resolution 10-19-1967, National Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Pull it.
Number 3, revisions of staff allocation formulas and guidelines, Booklet 2019-2020. Number 4, concerning Resolution 09-19-1964, National Farm to School Month. Number 5, approval of Broadmoor Elementary Classroom Wing Addition Guaranteed Maximum Price for Construction. Number 6, approval of L.J. Alamo Middle Classroom Wing Addition Guaranteed Maximum Price for Construction. Number 7, approval of bids for Southside High School portable building relocations. Number 8, 2019-2020 proposed projects for fundraising matching program. Number 9, budget to actual reports for September 2019. Number 10, sales tax collection report for August 2019. Number 11, the grant fund summary for September 2019. Number 12, bid award for bid number 05-20, band instruments. Number 13, discussion and/or action concerning Resolution 10-19-1966, adoption of millage rates for 2019. Number 14, the 2019-2020 first quarter budget revisions for applicable funds. Number 15, the new public information officer job description. Number 16, concerning new policy GAAB, individuals with disabilities. Number 17, revisions to policy JBC, school admission. Number 18, approval to advertise and accept proposals for internet service. Number 19, approval to advertise and accept proposals for wide area network service. Number 20, the minutes of September 11th, 2019.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion that we approve all items not pulled.
We have a motion from Mr. Latchley, seconded by Mr. Angel, that the board approve all items not pulled. Does the public have any questions or comment on these items? For your information, this is your opportunity to discuss any of the agenda items besides items 1, 2, and 7. So if you have any comments or questions about any of those items, now is your opportunity to speak. Do any board members have any questions or comments? Madam Secretary, I'll call for the vote.
7 for, none against.
Motion carries. The next item on the agenda is item number 1.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion that the board adopt Resolution 10-19-1965, recognizing October as National Domestic Violence Awareness Month as attached in the public content section of this agenda item.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Mr. Latchley, seconded by Ms. Morrison, that the board adopt Resolution 10-19-1965, recognizing October as National Domestic Violence Awareness Month, as attached in the public content section of this agenda item. Mr. Latchley, would you like to introduce?
Just go ahead and press the green button so they can hear you, and go ahead and introduce yourselves and speak.
Okay, do I need to read the resolution? Okay. Hi, my name is Roxanne Martin. I am one of the homebound teachers for the parish. Whereas Voices of Acadiana supports National Domestic Violence Awareness Month to bring attention to and advocate for victims of domestic violence. Whereas Voices of Acadiana wants to take a stand and remind our local communities that between 3.3 million and 10 million children are exposed to domestic violence each year. Whereas Voices of Acadiana and our community shall not stop until society has zero tolerance for domestic violence and until all victims and survivors can be heard. Therefore, be it duly resolved that the Lafayette Parish School Board does hereby designate the month of October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
Thank you, Ms. Martin.
Okay, I have a small short
please.
speech. Good evening. Thank you, President, Mr. Latchley, and Ms. Trosclair, and members of the board for proclaiming October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. My name is Roxanne Morton. I am a homebound teacher for the parish, as well as the 2017 LEF High School Teacher of the Year. I am also a survivor of nearly 30 years of domestic violence. I represent Voices of Acadiana. Jeez, I haven't cried yet. We are a volunteer membership group composed solely of survivors of domestic violence in Acadiana. Voices was formed through a partnership with Faith House and the Family Justice Center of Acadiana. Voices of Acadiana's mission is to advocate for victims of domestic violence by actively working towards system change, domestic violence education and awareness, and survivor outreach in order to break the generational cycle of abuse in families. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention has reported that in homes where violence between partners occurs, there is a 45 to 60% chance of co-occurring child abuse, a rate 15 times higher than the average. Even when the child is not physically attacked, children witness 68 to 80% of domestic violence assault. These numbers are a sobering reminder of the toll a violent environment takes on our children. The Violence Policy Center ranked Louisiana second in the nation in 2016 for the rate of women killed by men. My ex-husband spent over a year in jail, convicted of 7 felonies and 15 misdemeanors. Our daughter has a protective order against her own father until 2021, and I have a lifetime protective order against him. So the issue of domestic violence is very personal to me. We ask the leaders of Lafayette Parish School Board and the citizens of Lafayette Parish to wear purple on Wednesdays to bring awareness to the issue of domestic violence. We also invite you to join the numerous activities during the month of October and create a network of support for survivors. Please visit Faith House's website for more information. Together we can make a difference and save the lives of those experiencing abuse in their homes. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Martin. Do any other members of the public have a comment on this item? Do any members of the board have any comments? Mr. Latchley.
Thank you, Ms. Martin. Thank you for coming and making us aware. Sometimes the hardest thing to do is to stand up. We appreciate you doing that, because I think one of the best ways to prevent something is to make people aware. And thank you, and I'm glad we can use the board floor to make people aware of exactly what's going on, and thank you.
Do any of the board members have comment? Madam Secretary, I'll call for the vote.
7-4, none against.
Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is Resolution 10-19-1967, National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Mr. Lechley.
Mr. President, make a motion that the board adopt Resolution 10-19-1967, National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, as attached in the public content section of this agenda item.
A motion from Mr. Lechley, seconded by Mr. Angel, that the board adopt Resolution 10-19-1967, National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, as attached in the public content section of this agenda item. Do we have any public comment on that motion? Do we have any board member comment? I will read the resolution. Resolution 10-19-1967, National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Whereas October is designated as National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and whereas breast cancer touches the lives of many in the Lafayette Parish from every background and every community across our parish, and whereas although great strides have been made in combating this devastating illness, more women and men will be diagnosed with breast cancer this year, and hundreds are expected to lose their lives to this disease in our community. And whereas during National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, the Lafayette Parish School Board honors those we have lost, offer our strength to those who carry on the fight, and pledge to educate ourselves and our loved ones about this tragic disease. And whereas this month we stand with the women, men, and families who have been affected by breast cancer, and we recognize the ongoing efforts of dedicated advocates, researchers, and healthcare providers who strive each day to defeat this terrible disease now. Therefore, be it resolved that the Lafayette Parish School Board does hereby proclaim October 2019 as National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. If there are no other comments, Madam Secretary, I'll call for the vote.
Eight, 4, none against.
Motion carries. Final item on the agenda tonight is the approval of bids for Southside High School portable building relocations. Mr. Hidalgo.
Mr. President, I move that the board approve the low base bid and alternates number 1, 2, and 3 in the amount of $628,250 from JC Construction LLC for the Southside High portable building relocations project in accordance with Louisiana Public Bid Law and purchasing procedures and guidelines.
I do not hear a second, Mr. Hidalgo. Mr. Angel seconds. We have a motion from Mr. Hidalgo, seconded by Mr. Angel, that the board approve the low base bid and alternates 1, 2, and 3 in the amount of $628,250 from JC Construction LLC for the Southside High School portable building relocations project in accordance with Louisiana Public Bid Law and purchasing procedures and guidelines. Do we have any public comment on this item? Do we have any board member comment on this item? Mr. Hidalgo.
I'd just like to ask my fellow board members for their consideration. Back on January 17th of this year, Mr. Angel, seconded by Mr. Lachele, and approved by all 9 members of the board, approved an item to move portable buildings to Southside High. We did that because of the anticipated growth in the coming years, not because we needed it this year. Well, it started off where we were not sure if we were going to have room for every student at Southside, and then we found some space, so it worked out to start this year. But we know that the growth is coming, and I'm asking you to support it, even though it's not in dire need today, because we know it's coming down the road. This is money that was left over from the initial loan for the project of Southside that has to be used on that campus, and it can't be used for, it can't be used for pay or additional teachers. It has to be used for bricks and mortar, et cetera, and I'm sure Mr. Guidry can speak to that. And I'm asking to do this because I feel in my heart that if we don't do this, we'll probably spend the money somewhere else, and I'm sure it's going to be a great need as well. But then it'll never happen, and then ultimately there's going to be a rezone. And this is a convenient way to expedite a rezone. I totally understand that if we don't do this. But my concern is that I don't want portable buildings at Southside, And I don't know anyone that goes to Southside that wants a portable building on their campus. But what they don't want more than a portable building is to be rezoned. They do not want to be rezoned. And eventually, I believe that that's going to happen. Now, I found out today at the meeting at about 5:29 that there is some kind of a plan in the mix to accommodate more students at Southside. Our decisions we make on this board floor are only as good as the information that we are given. This is the third time that we have now found more space to accommodate more students. I totally get why everybody on Facebook looks at us sometimes as, you know, what in the world are we doing? Our decisions are only as good as the information that we're provided. We have been provided with information in the past on several occasions that there is not enough space on the campus, not enough classroom space on the campus. I have maintained, and I continue to maintain, Southside is not overcrowded. But there's not enough classroom space to accommodate what we know the future growth looks like. And what I'm hearing from my folks, since until 5:29 today, no one asked my opinion from my district's perspective, that they don't want to be rezoned. So I'm asking you to support this for what we know is coming in the future. We can't take $628,000 and build a building. We already know that. 1,000 people asked that question on KATC's Facebook page. We can't do it. It's an $18.5 million project to do the full phase 2 of Southside High. So I'm asking for you guys to support this for the future growth of that area.
Thank you, Mr. Hidalgo. Mr. Angel, I believe, was first.
Yes, I seconded the motion for discussion purposes. So the money could be spent beside 100% of the money, is the motion to spend 100% of the money on portable buildings?
I would have to ask Mr. Guidry exactly how much is left over. The motion is for $628,250.
When you add the soft costs, architect fees, so on and so forth, it would fully utilize the existing funding. And when you consider FF&E, which would be an upcoming bid recommendation, would probably extend a little beyond that amount and require utilization of self-funded construction funds. But to answer your question, it would fully utilize those funds.
And how many students are we would this motion accommodate?
Well, the last number we were given by administration, the previous administration, was up to 2,000 students. But, you know, we can ask Ms. Cassidy if she has that answer. It's 6 more buildings. So, you know, if you figure 30 kids to the classroom, 30 students to the classroom, it brought it up to right at 2,000 students, which is what the core facility was built for. The core facility of the campus was built to accommodate comfortably 2,000 students. So it just so happens that, you know, that's where the number of buildings came in to accommodate up to 2,000 students.
Mr. Hidalgo, I was asked to point out when we say the term core facility that we actually mean bathrooms and hallways and parking spaces and not classrooms.
Right,
So
cafeteria.
I think that gets lost on.
Yes, sir.
Can I? I'm just concerned about doing so many buildings all at once when, you know, I mean, how much in the future are we talking about? My question is, could we spend the money somewhere, some of the money, doing, beside all of these portable buildings? I realize it has to be spent at the school. I mean, maybe we could get some input from the principal or, you know, some of the folks at the school. It just seems like a lot of money to spend on buildings that we may or may not need for a couple of 3 years from now. That's my concern.
Thank you, Mr. Angel. Mr. Latchley?
Mr. Hidalgo, all due respect, I don't think the word rezone came up again, so I brought it up. But I know you did, so you got to stop it.
You don't have to address me directly.
No, I don't, but...
Well, both of y'all can address me.
Yeah. I'm going to vote no to this for the fact of Southside has a plan, and I think $600,000, which has to be spent on that campus, can maybe be better spent than 6 portable buildings with 12 classrooms. Maybe half. We have till 2022 to spend this money, so there's no rush. to spend it. It's available. It can only be spent at Southside, and it will be spent at Southside. So there is not a rush. Allow the administration and staff of Southside to continue to work the plan they have. This money can be maybe better utilized for other facilities. I'm sure the principal has many ideas of where it can be used, and we can still put portable buildings. But the school board, the Lafayette Parish School System, has till 2022. A decision does not have to be made tonight. It did not have to be made in January. Let the principal continue to do what she's doing. And once again, I reiterate, nobody's saying rezone. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lanchelet. Does anyone else have a
So,
comment?
Mr. Santani, if I may, earlier today, we did say we thought it was 2022. Mr. Guidry went back.
2021, I believe.
I'm
is it
sorry.
not?
He went back and checked, confirmed some of his emails, and it's 2021.
Yes. Thank you very much. I have a question before. You said it's going to require some self-funded construction. How much?
Approximately right at about 250,000, thereabout.
So we would have to cough up an additional $250,000.
Actually, 260.
260. Thank you very much.
So this goes back to the information that was given. When we asked about this, previous administration, when we asked about this, we asked how much money is left over that we could use toward this project. And we were told that there was $650,000. That's what we were told. So the administration came back with a plan, and now the plan is not a $650,000 plan. It's an $800,000 plan. That's problematic. And what I'd like to know is, what is the administration's plan? Because
$900,000.
No, I want to know what is the plan at the school, because up until 5/29 today, I had no idea there was a plan. And where was this plan at on January 17th when we were talking about this very topic about let's make sure that we have space for 2,000 students in that school? That's where all these numbers came from. So where was that plan at that time? What is the plan? I don't know what the plan is. I can't tell my constituents what the plan is. I don't know it.
Kind of like I couldn't tell my constituents what the maps were, right?
Well,
All
you
right.
could have had you.
Any other comments from board members?
Make sure this motion is only for portable buildings and nothing else? I mean, besides fees.
Well, it is
Paying the portable buildings too.
Well, but it's all related to portable buildings and nothing else. Thank you.
Mr. Guidry?
It is the infrastructure in terms of sidewalks, canopies. In terms of the plan, Mr. Hidalgo, the plan has not changed. What has changed is architect has basically drawn up the plan, or it might have even been an engineer, with regards to electrical needs and tying in the buildings with sidewalks, canopies, fire alarms, intercom, so on and so forth. So in essence, the estimate was revised to reflect a more representative cost. So the plan has not changed. The estimated cost of the plan has been updated to reflect the engineer's estimate, cost estimate.
Ms. Morrison?
At our last month's meeting, Mr. Hefner was going to give her some numbers so we could better foresee and making a better decision. I was wondering if we received that information from Mr. Hefner, and what was it?
No, ma'am, we have not. If I recall, he said the spring semester would give more stable numbers.
I think he was
than
waiting
right
for
now.
our October 1st numbers, if I remember correctly. So he probably just either recently got them or will soon get them something. Do you have any other board member questions or comment? Last one, Mr. Angel.
I'd like to make a substitute motion, Mr. President. I think that the 600,000 is forecasting too much in the future. They may be idle there for years, and I think it's too much. I would like to make a substitute motion that we attribute half of that, 300,000, toward buildings which we know would be needed in the very near future, and that the other half that we go back to the principal, the school staff, and anyone else who wants to be involved and spend that. We realize it has to be spent there, but maybe we could spend it on something other than just portable buildings.
While I appreciate your substitute motion, I believe it would be out of order right now as this agenda item concerns the approval of bids for Southside High School. So my suggestion to you would be to reject the bids that we received because they had a specific scope of work. And if we would like to reissue this bid for 3 buildings sometime in the future, then that would certainly be in order at that time. Would you like to make that substitute motion to reject the bids? Because the motion on the floor right now is to approve the bids. What's that? Oh. Well then, fair enough for my parliamentarian over there. Did you hear what Dr. Chasson said? He is pointing out to me that you seconded the original motion, and so that precludes you from making a substitute motion. Okay. All right. So the original motion stands on the floor. Mr. Broussard.
Mr. Guidry, if we delay this project of 2021 and the same thing comes on the table with the $600,000+ that's in the book, how much more do you think it will cost us if we delay this project till the last hour?
I would think that you could add about 3.5% per year. So if you take the 628,000 and increase that by, you would be looking at about 18 to 20,000 per year that is delayed, just to allow for increase in construction costs, and that's just an estimate.
Do we have any other board member comments or questions? Madam Secretary, I'll call for the vote.
Two for, 6 against.
Motion fails. That being the last item on our agenda, the meeting is adjourned.
It's not bad at all. Oh, and yeah, sort of a middle of the road. How you doing? In allow some funding for other.